please sit down. We'll start the meeting. And fellow Toastmasters, a very warm welcome to Bangalore Toastmasters Club. I am Toastmaster Chiran, the Sergeant at Arms for this term, and I am responsible for organizing the meeting hall and the other requirements before the meeting starts and ensure that the meeting goes on smoothly. Before we commence the meeting, to ensure that meeting goes on smoothly, I request all of you to please put your phones on silent mode. Please do it within the next 10 seconds. Thank you. If you are called on stage, please refrain from talking about sex, religion and politics in order to not hurt others' sentiment. If you wish to move in and out of the meeting hall, please do it when a speaker on stage completes their speech and you hear applause going on. So, we are all familiar with the word called kiss, isn't it?
Yes.
Indeed. Okay. I'm not talking about a human expression that is used to express the emotion. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a term called kiss, which abbreviates to keep it simple and stupid. Anything is wrong. So for today's meeting, it aligns with keep it simple and stupid. A term coined by an engineer from Lockheed organization called Kelly Johnson. This is so relevant in my day-to-day activity as I work on an organization which develops a product to a customer and we don't meet it many times. This is because of the complexity of one thing is because the customer requirement doesn't get directly into a developer. So there are complexity involved because of the team that gets involved in it. So what did we do? We made it keep it simple. This is the formula we applied. We are not involving many teams. It's just customer and one application engineer who thinks about all these things, convinces the customer. So that is required. So we do this step, keep it simple. So this has helped me and my organization to get things closer to customers' requirement, not exactly meet that. So amongst us, we have a person who believes in this principle as well. Keep it simple. You can see in his everyday activity as well as whenever he walks in, his communication style, his dressing sense, or even in the food intake. You might have not seen it, but he has stressed for his fitness level, so that is what he uses. He keeps his food simple and to the basics, and he keeps it clean. So ladies and gentlemen, this person is leading our club through this term, and this is the last meeting of his term as a president. So please join me in welcoming the president of our club, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chiran, for the lovely words. I call to order meeting number 1383 of Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Well, the minutes of the previous meeting 1382 was shared by our secretary. Hope the minutes were in order. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. So the minutes of the previous meeting 1382 stands passed. Are there any first-time guests here? First time? So may I request you to please rise and then get yourself introduced by your name and where you work as well.
I am Chandrasekhar. I am working in HCL Technology and I own a business.
Sorry?
I own enterprise business.
Oh, okay.
My name is John Peter. I work at the French University of Bangalore Society General as a business activity manager. This is my first session.
Okay. How about you, ma'am?
Yeah, hi. I'm Amrit Kaur. I'm not working right now. I stay closer to Banapeta Road, near Meenakshi.
Sorry?
Near Meenakshi.
Meenakshi Mall. You came all the way from Punjab.
Meenakshi Mall.
Meenakshi Mall.
Your name is Amrit Kaur.
Oh, yeah. My parents are from Punjab.
Punjab, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So Toastmasters, how can we welcome this wonderful guest in front of term. In fact, there is a story behind why this theme was set. Actually, our VP education of this current term, he was trying to reach me maybe a couple of days back. And he was checking with me what the theme for this term is. I said, there is nothing, man. So there is no theme for this term. Okay, so we believe in simplicity and then we go by the flow and there is no theme as such. Then he thought about it and then he finally gave a theme which signifies the previous term. Okay, so keep it simple. When I got to know about this particular theme, then I remembered about one particular story which I read some time back. And that was about Semmelweis. So have you ever heard about someone called Semmelweis? Anyone? No? Then I can add some spice to this story. Semmelweis was a physician or a doctor. And he was working in the Hungary's capital, which is called Budapest. And he was working as a physician in Budapest General Hospital. And that Budapest General Hospital has got two different wards for maternity. One which is manned by properly trained doctors, and the other one is manned by the midwives. So not so educated, they were just trained in how to carry out maternity. But in those days, in the year 1846 to 1850, people who get admitted to maternity ward normally succumb. And the main reason being a disease called as childbed fever. And when it comes to the maternity ward which is manned by the doctors, the mortality rate was somewhere close to 12%. Whereas, on the contrary, the ones which are manned by your midwives, the maternity rate or the mortality rate was just 2%. And this gentleman was perplexed. How come a trained physician operating on a pregnant woman, the mortality rate is high, whereas the untrained midwife, the mortality is very less, 2%. And people in those days used to think that it is due to a poisonous gas, and then they call this phenomenon as called miasma. They say it is because of miasma, people die. The women who come to the maternity ward, they die. But if it is due to miasma, then there can't be any difference because the wards are just parallelly opposite. So this gentleman, the doctor, Semmelweis, thought about it. But he tried many experiments, he wanted to have some medication, so everything tried, nothing worked. And one fine day, one of his friends, his colleague, a doctor who is a pathologist, he did a dissection or he did a postmortem on a lady who succumbed to this childbed fever, and after a week's time he also passed away. So this gave him the aha moment. When he dissected his friend's body, the cadaver, the pathology of the cadaver was just similar to that of the one of the ladies who succumbed to this childbed fever. Those days, the germs were not known. People never knew that there is something called as a germ, because Louis Pasteur came much later. That's when he thought, if the pathology of the doctor who did the postmortem and the ladies who are succumbing to this particular disease called childbed fever are just the same, there must be some reason to it. And then he dug deeper. And then he found that doctors used to carry out postmortem in the morning and then come and attend the maternity in the afternoon. So they carry the germs. Whereas the midwives were not into postmortem. All that they need to do is to get the baby delivered. And then he introduced a simple technique called as washing the hands using hypochlorite, sodium hypochlorite. That practice, which he started in the year 1850, even now continues. So no matter how much of thinking that he did, so he didn't do any major science discovery, nothing. All that he did was a simple phenomenon called hand washing. And they changed the world. And the maternity or the mortality rate in the maternity ward drastically reduced, and then it became absolutely nil. Right? So many of the discoveries, many of the inventions that the world has ever seen are not due to some breakthrough thinking, it is just sheer simplicity. But in the same case, here in Toastmasters as well, in our own club, there are intellectuals who keep thinking about innovations, trying to do some drama here in our club, trying to make something which is
very fear at all. Not needed. We come here to listen to good speeches. We come here to learn how to speak and not to make any sarcastic amount about people. Right? So that's where the art of simplicity comes into picture as well. If you need to become a great communicator, you don't need to speak in Greek and Latin. All that you need to do is you need to ensure that you tell a story and then make it absolutely simple without being sarcastic. With that note, let me introduce you to a person who is going to take us through the rest of the meeting as the MC for the day, who is known for his simplicity. A young man who joined Toastmasters just a month back. And in just a month, he had taken up some remarkable roles. He had been a sergeant at arms once. And he also did his icebreaker. And today he volunteered to be the Toastmaster of the day as well. There is a famous saying, like father, like son, isn't it? So his father is known for his humor, and this gentleman is also known for his subtle humor. And I know for sure today is going to make us laugh and roll. So ladies and gentlemen, mark my words, this gentleman is going to go places. And a remarkable ability to articulate complex thoughts in the most simplest way possible. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our MC for today, Toastmaster Brian Nelson D'Souza.
Simplicity is as simple as you make it. Good evening, Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Welcome.
Yes.
When I was in grade 10, there was something called notice writing, which we had in our English language syllabus. So, notice writing is simple. It was a 100-word, 10-mark question. It carried a lot of weightage though. So, in the previous tests where I wrote notices, I used to get average marks like 6 or 5, but that used to bother me. So one day when my second pre-board were nearing, I thought to myself, let's rank up notice writing and get at maths 8 or a 9. So when the second pre-board exam came, the English language exam came, I put my heart and soul into writing the notice, putting all sorts of details, who the chief guest of the event was, what kind of the event, describing the event, etc. I was quite happy by the method I wrote and was satisfied after the exam. Much to my surprise, instead of getting a 6 or a 5, I got a 3 on 10. I was angry, frustrated. What I thought would take me to an 8 took me to a 3. So I confronted my teacher. Like, ma'am, you gave me 3 on 10. Like, my teacher, she looked at my answer and she's like, Brian, only if you had kept it simple. Being a science student, the word simple is quite misleading. It's hard to define what simple is, but we just do simple things. So I was confused by what she told, only if you had made it simpler. And then I asked her again, ma'am, how could I have made it simpler? She told, Brian, in notice writing there are two important points. Making sure you write the 3 W's. What the event is, where the event is and when the event is. And the second point is making sure your notice is as small, apt and most concise as possible. So I took her suggestion and then she excused me. I looked at the paper and I realized it had none. Not even the 3 W's and obviously not simple. That's why I got the 3. So what happened was I took my failure as a method to learn and went on to write the third pre-board in the most simplest of fashion. write the 3 W's and copy the question in the notice. That's all I did. And that, surprisingly again, instead of getting an 8 or 9, it got me a 10 on 10. I don't know how, I'm still confused to this day. But it got me a 10 on 10 and I was quite happy about it. What ma'am told that keeping it simple, that did not occur to me after getting a 10 on 10. A few weeks later on, when my boards came, the morning of my English language board exam, my teacher came into the classroom and we were all discussing what the letter writing format was, the notice format, the morning hustle, right? And I noticed she was distributing some papers. So curious, I went to her and I just in the bench and said, what is she doing? And she was distributing papers to the people, to my classmates who needed help in English language. And I noticed my paper fly by. Like, ma'am, that's my paper. Like, yeah, Brian, that's your paper. Ma'am, what is it doing there? She told one thing. Brian, he needs help in notice writing. Your notice is as simple as it can get and he can understand. That moment I realized something, what she told me weeks back. All I had to do was write it in a simplest of fashion. I was in a train of perfection. My train overshot the station and stopped 300 or 400 meters by and I got a 3 on 10. Previously I should get a 7, somewhere 30-40 meters after the station, it used to stop. But now I got a 10 on 10 and my station, as per her, stopped exactly at the station. I realized at the moment, all I did was overthink if this was enough or not. When I was asking, when I got this topic, the theme, keep it simple, I was asking one of my friends what her views were on keeping it simple. She told me one thing, Brian, being simple doesn't stop you from being extraordinary. I would certainly think Ralph C. Smedley would agree to it. Being known for his modest and quiet behavior, Ralph C. Smedley started a movement in 1924 that spread like wildfire. With over 17,000 clubs in 144 different countries, with over 3 lakh members, Ralph C. Smedley established a stage where you can talk freely without having the fear of being judged. A stage where you can convert your complex, complicated, confused thoughts into simple, direct ones. The movement which it started was called as the Toastmasters. Dear members, a quick question. The official meeting took place on the 20th of August 1924 in Santa Ana. You all know that, right? Right? So, we all know when the official meeting Toastmaster meeting took place. Do we know when the first unofficial Toastmasters meeting took place?
1902.
1908. Got it. The first unofficial meeting took place on the 24th of March 1905. Exactly 118 years back. Moving on, the typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 segments. 1, the prepared speech segment. 2nd, the table topic session, which I love. And the 3rd is the evaluation segment. Now, I am going to introduce to you the principle of today's meeting, the general evaluator. The general evaluator evaluates the meeting from the start, from 6:30 to until it ends, 8:30, 8:45, I don't know. She just evaluates. Today's evaluator has served the Bangalore Toastmasters Club in Bangalore Toastmasters Committee 6 times. She's the area B2 director, the deputy director of engine machine pool manufacturing, has been a Toastmaster for over 4 years. Her thoughts on today's theme is, the simpler you are, the lesser the problems. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. to welcome the general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Hannah Victoria.
Okay, thank you so much.
Confusing. To assist the general evaluator, we have something called the tag team. The timer, the grammarian, and the accountant. The timer for today is someone who is into business development. He gave his thunderous speech last week, thunderous icebreaker last week, where he told us how passionate he is about 5K. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for today's timer, Toastmaster Sampath.
Good evening. As the timer, it's my duty to time and record the duration of the entire meeting and its individual parts. So for icebreaker speech, it is 4 to 6 minutes. I'll show the green for 4 minutes, yellow for 5 minutes, and red for 6 minutes. And for the prepared speech, it is 5 to 6 minutes. I'll show the green card at 5 minutes, and yellow card at 6, and red card at 7 minutes. For table topic, its time duration is 2 minutes. So in green card at 1 minute, and yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. So at the end of the meeting, I will give my report to the general evaluator and submit to the club secretary in order to become a part of the permanent record. Thank you.
To calculate the R's, and the crutch words, we have with us a Toastmaster who's studying MBA in JM University. His view on today's theme is don't think too much. Just go with the flow. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the account of today, Toastmaster Palapati.
Good evening, Toastmaster.
Good evening.
As an all-counter, I will be listening very carefully for the use of vocal pauses and clutch words such as you know, and so, and repetitive words or phrases. I will keep track on everyone and report at the end of the meeting. The evaluation starts at the beginning of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. The last member of the tag team is the grammarian. This member has done his post-graduation in microbiology from Mumbai University. He is a fitness enthusiast. Not me though. I am not a fitness enthusiast. He is into fitness and self-development. He has been in Toastmasters for over 11 years. Please put your hands together to welcome the grammarian for today, Toastmaster Radhan Shetty.
Good evening, dear Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
As the grammarian for today, my job is to make a note of all the interesting words and phrases used by the speakers and vote takers, as also the not so good usages. I will be making a note of the colorful expressions like similes, metaphors, allusions, and trials. And it is also my duty to make a note of all the speakers who use the word for the day. The word for the day is culminate. And culminate means to reach the highest point or the point of decisiveness. An example of its usage would be one of the candidates campaigned day in and day out for the elections and ultimately won by an emphatic margin. And this was the culmination of all his efforts. I would like to request one more thing. All the people who use the word of the day, kindly give them a silent thumbs up so that it encourages. Thank you.
Thank you. We are going into the first segment of today's meeting, the prepared speech segment. Here, members prepare a pre-prepared speech and they work on the delivery on stage. To evaluate the first speaker, we have someone who's an inspiring speaker. He once gave a speech on how much iodine can help and how iodine is used in salts. That speech which he gave, that inspired another founding member to take home packets of iodine salt and get screwed by his mother. Toastmasters, join me in welcoming the first evaluator for today, Toastmaster Robinson Souza.
The first speech he will be giving is first speech in Toastmasters. It's called Icebreaker. The purpose of this project is for him to introduce himself to the club and learn the basics of public speaking. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. The first speaker for today is attempting his icebreaker. He is a software engineer at Wells Fargo. He's a tech geek. He listens to the latest, trendy, melodious music. He loves to jog. He believes that Toastmasters will pave the path to success in what he firmly believes. Toastmasters, join me in welcoming the first speaker for today with the speech title, How I See Me, Toastmaster Srinivas.
We learn the best in the moment of enjoyment. Who said this?
Srinivas.
I got the answer. This is chocolate. Please, sir, please pass it.
I like it. You want it?
Now there's confusion. You said it first.
Good evening.
Okay, please.
Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. I was born in a coastal town of Andhra Pradesh, Nellore. I was the second child of my parents, a younger one. As my father was always getting transferred from one place to other, so initial part of my upbringing was with my maternal grandparents. And it was the most cherished time of my childhood. I was the heartthrob of so many people. So obviously, fans are more at a young age. So as I moved into my schooling, my father was working in Himachal Pradesh, from South India to North India. Right? So I did my schooling up to 4th standard there. As my father kept on getting transfers, I moved into a Chhattisgarh, Bhilai, which many of you would have known, steel plant. I stayed there for 4 years. Then ultimately I came back to South India, where the journey began. I came back to Pondicherry. I think most of you know what Pondicherry is. If not one time you would have visited. So mostly in a childhood, I was more of a play, less of studies. So in a simple way, I would say I was like master of none, jack of all trades, just enjoying my childhood. Let me fast forward and speak about my college days. I think that's what all of you are interested in. Right? College days, as I matured, I understood to be successful in career, it is very much important that how much you score in education, isn't it? That's what my parents also wanted me to learn. But I learned in hard way. But that's usual. So basically, I was studying at the last moment and trying to get something second or third rank in the college. So I used to assume that is like I was treated like a wonder boy of college and getting a lot of attentions. Right? Obviously in college, two things are very important. I feel so. One is getting your girlfriend, right? A life partner.
and second is the placement, right? Both goes hand in hand. So in second year I was able to succeed, get my girlfriend, whom I married. Her name is Divya. I'm blessed with my son, who is 4.5 years right. At the second one, right? Your love life can continue if you have a job, right? So I was waiting for the D-date where I can get placed into the MNCs, right? But somehow I was not able to get those opportunity, and I didn't get through. That was the lowest part of my life. But then I felt I was not even speaking to my girlfriend in those tough times. Then I met my first mentor of my life, who changed my life. He taught me the 3 recipes of success. First P, which he used to tell me, is patience. Let me connect with all of you. We all are here in Toastmaster, like me, who wants to improve the communication skill, right? So we should all be patient enough. Come, don't get distracted. So, second P which he taught me, persistence, right? As all of you come here every Friday, take up few roles, speak in table topics like auxiliary roles, and then be a better person for next. Third is the perspiration, right? Ultimately your feedback, I go back and work on it and improve myself. That is more important. With these 3 things that changed my life, ultimately I went to a more master's and did my post-graduation, and ultimately got not just 1 job, 3 jobs, my friend. And I ultimately chose the best company and the highest package. And ultimately my life partner also came because I was patiently waiting for her. Right? So with this, I would culminate this speech by saying, keep it simple. Follow these 3 P's of life. You are the shoots of success. I can see the future leaders from here. Thank you.
Being in college, I think I can relate to those 2 rules that you gave. Moving on to the second speech, another icebreaker. Are we all excited?
Yes.
To evaluate the second speaker, we have with us a distinguished Toastmaster. She is an executive communication coach and trainer. Unlike all of us, she starts her day with brain puzzles. Her day doesn't move on without solving Sudokus. She believes that simplicity is elegance. Toastmasters, join in welcoming the second evaluator for today, DTM Sumitra. The speaker giving the second icebreaker for today is a dentist. Any of you with cavities or anything can contact. She's a director at Adarsh Health. She has an MBA in hotel management. She loves reading. If you don't find her in her workspace, you'll find her reading or doing sports. Her views on today's topic is keep it simple. Life is complicated enough. When you get too complex, you forget the obvious. With the speech title, A Life Well Lived, Lessons Learned Along the Way. Toastmaster Nisha Mehta.
A very warm good evening, my dear fellow Toastmasters 52 years young. Yes, you heard that right. Young. It's just, age is just a number after all, proven time and again by our fellow Toastmasters, our veteran Toastmasters. As they say, you never stop having fun because you get old. In fact, you get old only when you stop having fun. I was born and did my schooling in Jalna, a small place near Aurangabad in Maharashtra. I'm blessed with a younger brother and a sister. My mother was a housewife, but she was very ambitious and a go-getter. She always used to say, when you want done something right, you do it yourself. And boy, did she live by her motto. My father, on the other hand, he was very simple and he was sincere and hardworking. He used to say, why fight it out when you can hug it out? I completed my BDS in one of the best colleges, Government Dental College, Bombay. It was fun throughout, enjoying the beautiful Amchi, Mumbai. I was persuaded rather into marriage while I was still pursuing my final year degree, after which I completed and shifted to Bangalore. Life actually came a full circle for me. We had our own struggles. My husband, who is a pediatrician, he was very particular and wanted to be self-sufficient with no help from his siblings. And he wanted to start from scratch. He was the youngest of all 7 siblings. We both then started a grueling day and night struggle, fulfilling our dreams, which then became my desires, and after that there was no looking back. Everybody's teeth and dentistry became my best friends. I used to everybody's teeth and dentistry became my best friends. Though we had to toil very hard, we never let that extract the joy from our lives. And as a dentist, I knew a thing or two about extraction. As they say, that behind every successful man is a surprising woman. Amidst the struggle of our lives, we were blessed with a lovely angel who till date is very unique. She was born in Jalna, did her schooling in Bangalore. She completed her BE in BMS College, and she pursued her master's in Georgia Tech, Atlanta. Now she is settled and married in Seattle. She works for Confluent. Her husband, a wonderful son-in-law, is worked as an applied scientist for Amazon and now is going to join Apple soon. One thing I believe in and would like to assert is in the power of subconscious. Life for me unveiled step by step all that I had deeply desired and yearned to be. Amidst the vast struggles of our life, I was actually blessed, and thankfully I got a break from dentistry for a 1 month's period of COVID, during the lockdown period of COVID, for 1 month, for 2 consecutive years, and I could fortunately pursue my distance learning program, MA in Yoga and Meditation. After that, I kind of became addicted to yoga. I recently completed a 10-day Vipassana meditation course by Acharya S.N. Goyekka, and I would really recommend everybody to try doing one. In conclusion, life has come full circle to me with its ups and downs. It's been a lovely roller coaster ride. And now I am in front of, now I look forward to fulfill my hobbies, and tick my bucket list one by one. I love reading. I gym regularly. I try and meditate for an hour. I also pursue sports like basketball and table tennis, and why not? I used to love to sing, and I joined some singing classes, though my family begged me not to, because I guess they still prefer the sound of the dental mill over my singing. In my daughter's wedding, I even composed and sang a lovely song for her with audio visuals, showcasing her entire life from childhood till her marriage. As they say, music is the wine that fills the cup of silence. And now, I am on to the most dreaded task of my life. Indeed it is. Speaking in front of people. That's why I joined Toastmasters. And this also I had thought 15 years back. compassionate life. One should live a balanced and equanimous life, free of aversion, craving, and reactions as much as possible. One must, of course, live a simple life, empathetic and a compassionate life, full of family, friends, and love. After all, life is not about milestones, but about moments. You have succeeded in life only when you really want is only what you really need. Thank you.
For youngsters like me, it truly inspires to see such hardworking people. Moving on to the third speaker. To evaluate the third speaker, we are with us who owns a consulting firm. He loves reading and just like all of us, loves speaking too. His view on today's theme is that it takes a lot of skill to be simple. Being simple is a sign of a mature mind. Ladies and gentlemen, join in welcoming the third evaluator for today, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening.
Good evening.
The speaker is attempting project 1 from level 3 from Persuasive Influence Path. The purpose of this project is for the member to develop or enhance his understanding of the steps and strategies to address conflict. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspects of his experience learning about and resolving conflict. Timer, please note, speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Back to you.
Thank you. The third speaker is a chief of staff for a B2B Martech SaaS company. He loves reading and cycling. And this aspect, I am sure all of us do, but are shy to admit it. Just like most of us, he dances good in the shower. According to him, yeah. He's with the speech title Brain Battle. Please join in welcoming the third speaker for today, Toastmaster Aditya Srivastava.
Good evening, you Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening. Good evening.
Tell me something. What comes in your mind when I say this name, Arnab Goswami? Shouting, quarreling, conflicting, right? It is exactly the opposite of the title of the speech today. That is brainless battle. What I'm going to talk about is brain battle. Well, the term brain battle is a more generalized or hip or jazz version of conflict resolution, because where does conflict happen? It's a very management term, right? It might happen with your peers, it might happen with your colleagues, but you also get in quarrels with your spouses, your children, your friends, or even the street vendor down the road, right? Any brain battle is a situation or a conversation in which you are trying to get what you want. Now, how does one get that? Arnab definitely tells us how not to get it, but how do you get it? There are 3 very simple laws or strategies that I would like to share with you today, so that any time you have a conversation with someone, and when I say someone, it could be a kid, it could be a spouse, it could be a manager, or it could be XYZ person. You are having this conversation to get what you want, right? It could be anything. So, first things first, Robin Sharma puts it beautifully that any conversation is nothing but a couple dancing. If in a couple, one person dances very fast, the couple looks weird, right? If one dances very slow, the couple looks weird again. But when you are dancing at the same level, it creates harmony, it creates synergy, right? Now, how do you achieve that in your life? So, we start with the very first law, which is the 1-minute law. Guys, what happens is when you're trying to talk to someone or having a conversation, you come from a place of your own beliefs, right? What have been taught, what we have learned, what we have went through ourselves, and we try to project or we try to ask for what we want based on that beliefs. But just for a second, think, the same life could have been felt through in a different way by the person whom you are speaking with. By believing very strongly in our beliefs, we actually limit ourselves and we let not even evolve our own beliefs to be empathetic or be expansive of what we are going to accept. So, for the next time you find yourself in a heated conversation or in a conversation which is going nowhere, I want you all to follow the 1 minute law. Switch off your brain, and when I say brain, just your belief system. Switch off your belief system for 1 minute and call it out to the other person that for the next 1 minute, I'm going to hear you out. And when I say hear you out, I don't know about you guys, if you guys can take very good mental notes. I can't, so I generally write these pointers down. The 1 minute law is reciprocated. So I give you a minute. After that 1 minute, you give me my minute. Make sense? And in this 1 minute span, both of us are supposed to just listen each other out. What you take away as part of pointers from this conversation, you can choose what to do. Either you can reject it or contest upon it, or you can ask deeper questions. Where are you coming from? Right? So the 1 minute law gives you that actual time limited space of being empathetic by design. Now the second thing, what you can potentially do, guys, see, life is never black and white. It is never my way or the highway. Had that been the case, a lot of us wouldn't have been here, right? So, a very simple idea of hypothesis testing kicks into effect. Because what might happen is, out of the 4 things or the 10 things that you're trying to get, or the 10 things you want, out of those 10 things, you might need just 3, or 4, or 5, or 7. But what does that mean? You are happy with even a certain percentage of what you had initially asked for. Make sense? Yes. Make sense? By doing hypothesis testing, I want 10 things in life, but roti, kapda, makan to necessity hai, right? So even with 30% of my wants being met, I'm happy, I can survive, I don't have to walk away from you. So the next time you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to negotiate something, think in ranges. Okay? That will automatically make you flexible, because you don't need 0% or 100%. You need probably 60%, 70%, or at times you might also walk away with just 30% of the overall ask because it can actually fulfill what you need to keep on going. But there will definitely come times in your life where you will have to walk away from the table, right? So the third strategy is very simple. It's a very famous management term called BATNA. It's an acronym. It stands best alternative to a negotiated agreement. In simple terms, what happens when you walk away, right? If I were to give you a very simple example, when you were a kid, you wanted a chocolate, you go to your mom, Mama, chocolate de do. She's like, no, you're going to get cavity, and Nisha ma'am is not available. What do? You don't fight your mom, you just go to your dad. You're like, Dad, please can I have a chocolate? So that is how BATNA works. It tells you whether or not to step into that conversation, right? Because there would be times, it could be as simple as somebody asking dowry for marriage. It's not negotiable, you don't do it. You have to walk away from the table, right? So, the 3 strategies I spoke about, let's quickly recap those, but in the reverse order. Because all these 3 strategies answer a few questions for each one of you. BATNA tells you whether or not to have that conversation, right? Whether I want to speak to this guy, yes or no. Do I have other alternatives? BATNA tells you that. Second, hypothesis testing tells you out of the overall ask that you have put up, what can you live with? And in terms of getting to a point where you want to get the needs at least fulfilled, you put the 1 minute law into effect. Make sense? So, the next time you are in a brain battle, think of the BATNA, use the hypothesis testing, and give the person in front of you the 1 minute to speak. Thank you. Back to you.
That was a wonderful way on how to tell people the way to communicate and think, and 1 minute to do. Now we have come to the end of the prepared speech segment. We will break off for a break of 5 minutes. Guess, get out of your comfort zone, meet at least one new person. Toastmasters, get out of your comfort zone, talk to the guests. We break off. This, keep it short and simple. When I first came to Toastmasters, table topic session was the most session which was filled with adrenaline. Before we go into the table topic session, a quick raise of hands. Who all have parked your four-wheelers inside the premises? And the two-wheelers now. Who have parked two-wheelers inside the premises?
Once again, there will be more four-wheelers. Please ask again. I saw more hands raised.
Four-wheelers, please raise your hands. And the two-wheelers? Now the session which brings in a lot of adrenaline. You don't know what's going to happen. The table topic master will put on a topic and you wish that would not be you. To take forward, to lead us into table topic, we have with us a lead automation, a person who is a lead automation at Nokia. She loves reading and sports. She believes the best way to enjoy life is to keep it simple. She, just like me, thinks cooking is the biggest scam. Cook for 2 hours, eat in 2 minutes. She loves eating but doesn't really enjoy cooking. Please join me in welcoming the table topic for today, Toastmaster Priyanka.
Fellow Toastmasters and your guests, are you all ready to test your observative and listening skills? No? I mean, the reason you all are here is for that. So are you all ready?
Yes.
Great. For the benefits of the guest, table topic session is an impromptu session. Basically, this session will help you work towards culminating 3 important skills. That is your thinking, that is thinking on your feet. Second is organizing your thoughts. And thirdly, the most important, presenting. How would you present your thoughts after organizing in just few seconds? So what I'm going to do is give you all a topic. Within 10 to 20 seconds, whatever you could comprise about the topic, you're going to present it in 1 to 2 minutes. So are you all ready?
Yes.
Great. So the first topic. Now the topics are of 3 categories. Situational based, something which very motivational, and taglines. So as the topic comes, I would wish you all to guess what it would be. The first topic, do what you can't. Do what you can't. It's a tagline, and the person is going to come. If they could recognize it, great. So the first speaker is going to be Jeevan.
Very good evening.
Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I audible at the back? Okay. So do what which we can't. I totally resonate with this theme because on regular basis we stick with certain kind of habits which is very easy by nature. Our brain needs situational problems. Like when we go to the gym every day, spend 1 hour of time training each and every body muscles, even our brain need an exercise. Doing what we can't is a one form of exercise where your neuron will improve. Your neuron will grow. One best example which I would like to connect in my own life is doing my startup. Zero experience. When I stepped into it, each and every day it was a tough. Whatever action that I was taking, which against my habit. But that habit was hard for the one day, but I did again. For the second day, it became intermediate. Matlab, bit easy. By the third day, it became full easy. So, everyone has a brain, but this mobile never allows us to use as our brain. But if you use your mobile in better way, doing puzzles, analyzing the situations, you train your brain on regular basis to think. And at the last, keep it very simple, make you think. Keep on thinking in your life, keep on taking actions. Thank you.
Well, that's it. I think the reason why also this company started was mainly because of it. The tagline of what I just mentioned was Samson. You do what you can't. It's Samson's tagline. So the next topic. How would you handle your schedule when it's interrupted? How would you handle your schedule when it's interrupted? Toastmaster Alok.
Table topics is typically how your schedule gets interrupted, right? You're sitting there thinking it's not your turn, and there goes the table topics master asking you to come and speak here. And that is how, in fact, my everyday routine is, because I'm a sales professional. I don't have the luxury of sitting in front of my laptop and getting in the flow. I'm sure all of you understand the flow, right? The process where you can concentrate for, say, hours together, or at least 15 minutes at a time, so that you can focus on that one single task. I really don't have the luxury of that. I'm a sales professional, so every moment I have to jump in from one transaction to the other. So this afternoon between 2 and 5, I had 3 customer calls. I had some mails to attend, then sync up with some of my colleagues to get inputs and drive the next call. So that is how my typical schedule is. Toastmaster, right? I would definitely understand that, being in the sales field as well. So how do I handle this? Now, go with the flow. That is the first strategy. You get into the schedule that is demanding you to work in a certain way, but make sure you complete all the tasks. Just go with the flow. Between morning till night, you break your schedule in such a way that you accomplish all the tasks that are there. So at the end of the day, you complete whatever is there, whatever was there on your plate since the morning. How do I implement this? Go with the flow is to follow one simple method, old school method. Just make a note of everything in your schedule on a notebook, so that you don't miss any of those little tasks. The task could be as simple as calling someone and saying, can I schedule a meeting? It is not even a meeting. Calling someone and saying, can I schedule a meeting? Just make a note of that in your notebook. The task could be as simple as writing a mail to someone. It could be a one-liner, but make a note of it in the notebook. So that is how I tend to manage my schedule. I mean, it's in hindsight being 2 minutes earlier, I realize that this topic is apt for someone like me who is a salesman, because my schedule gets interrupted throughout the day. And how do I handle it? It's by going with the flow and just keeping a schedule. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I will try to implement, because I always fail when I'm interrupted. I get completely interrupted. The next topic. The most important lesson of my life so far. The most important lesson of my life so far. Toastmaster Dania.
The most important lesson of my life is something which I realized very recently, and I'm going to share it as a story. The story of the frog and the scorpion. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about it. This frog is trying to cross the river, and the scorpion comes to the frog and says, I want to cross the river too, will you carry me on your back? The frog says, you're a scorpion, you're going to bite me midway. And I can't trust you. So the scorpion says, yes, but you know, I can't swim, you can swim. And then if I bite you, you're going to die, I'm going to die. So I'm the frog here, okay? I've been the frog, so very trusting. And I told the scorpion, oh yes, I'll take the cross, and you know, it's good to do a good deed. So we reach the center of the river, and the scorpion bites. I turn around and say, hey, you promised you're not going to bite me. So the scorpion looks at me and says, I'm the scorpion. I don't have control of what I do. You should have been smarter. And both die. But that's what it is. So you should know when to trust people and when not to trust. And you cannot be naive. That's been one of my big learning lessons. And yes, a scorpion will be a scorpion. And if you decide that you're going to trust a scorpion, it's not a scorpion's fault. Thank you.
Very true. We can't blame anyone. We need to be very more careful about what path we take. The next topic is a tagline. And the next speaker would suggest to, if you could get what the tagline is, to mention it. Think differently. Think differently. Toastmaster Rahul D'Souza.
Things that are actually going on in this organization. I've really been liking it a lot, and certainly today, I don't know, I'm just like lost for words. So going with the topic, how to thinking differently, is it good or not? I think we're all born with a purpose. We're all unique people. We're all stars in the universe. We all want to do something. We want to be different. We want to change the world by thinking differently and doing things differently. I work in IT, so I keep seeing all these new trends that are constantly popping out of nowhere. There are different people doing different things all the time. I think that's all I have. Nothing
Thank you, Toastmaster Rahul. I hope I kind of helped you think differently by calling you on the stage for the future meetings. Yes. So the next topic, what do you do if you disagree with another team member? What do you do if you disagree with another team member? Toastmaster Puneet.
I also remember the 3 years I spent building our house, and there were so many disagreements that there was a point where I'd wake up wondering who's not going to listen to me today. And then after a few weeks or months I realized nobody listens to me anyways. I'm just a glorified security guard in my own property. There used to be so many disagreements, and my dad and I had a very interesting strategy. He's always the nice guy, and so I had no choice but to be the bad guy. So he would come to the site and he would speak nicely to everyone, the construction workers, the laborers, the engineers, the architects. And I would be assigned to go there and shout at them and point things at them. This is not going right, you have come late, this is not working, we have told you to do it like this. And he would observe everything, okay? And he would tell me you have to point these things out also. And I had to go and point them out. And then my dad would come a few hours later and he would butterify everybody, say, oh, you had coffee? No, wait, I'll get coffee for you. You want biscuit? I'll get biscuit for you. Sit, eat around, say, you had dinner last night. There were a lot of workers staying on the site. So he would muscify them all. And I would be the one whiplashing them left, right and center. So I think this is how we went through most disagreements. But I think one pet peeve we had was Vastu. I mean, every creative idea he came up with, the engineer would always say, this is very interesting. In the evening he would call me and say, Vastu, this Vastu, there is a beam here, you can't have window, there is foot here. I mean, it became so heartbreaking because every single idea, I wanted to have a huge room, half of this hall, and I wanted to have it completely glass on one side. I wanted to have a skylight from above. I want to have, oh, thank you, it's a rosy flag. Okay, but none of that happened. So I had to make my peace with my house. Back to Priyanka.
I think parents are the best people to, let you face the world and make you prepared about the world. The next topic. If I ruled the world. If I ruled the world. Gaurav. Toastmaster very recently inducted. Joined Toastmasters and to be formally done.
If I rule the world, I will try to understand perspectives of people coming from different areas, like different nations, and will try to form a synergy between them. We'll be attending UN Council and all, so we'll be getting different ideas and stringing them together in necklace of pearls. Apart from that, I likely to rule the world. I would either be like a heartthrob or like a conqueror, because normally, democratically, we cannot rule the world, and that's all.
At least you had something to answer. I think if I was there, I still don't have an answer what I would do.
But you asked the question.
Yes. So that it will help me get an answer. The next topic. Everything you want to be. Everything you want to be. It's a tagline. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Vishal.
Everything I want to be. Okay. Everything I want to be is not on stage right now. So there's a lot of things I want to be, but there's only a few things that I can be. And as long as I can be all those things perfectly, it doesn't really matter if I can be everything that I should be. And I'm just shocked. So, yeah. Over to you, Toastmasters.
First time I'm maybe speechless.
It looked like a programming language closed loop one. Huh?
The next topic. Your opinion is not my reality. Your opinion is not my reality, Toastmaster Girish.
Your opinion is not my reality. You can still think I am genius. That doesn't change anything for me. Yes, often we do get into this. There was a classic example that I had a chance to induct one person, and it was during this COVID times where it was more of an online hiring session, and as a manager I had a chance only to have a discussion with him and then start a conversation with him. So the conversation went on very well, and this guy was also very, I think, third rank or something out of this organization, university. And we finally fixed up that okay, he would be the right candidate for us, and we wanted him meeting all the skills he's fresher out of the college and things like that. But what happened is, post that COVID time went almost a year when he was under training and all these aspects. More or less, it was online conversations was very helpful. But when we landed into the organizations, he was not even very open to people. So that is what was a surprising thing. So my view was not really reality there. So it was a new learning. So ideally would be that learning for me is that meet a person, then decide what is reality, at least in my perception. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Girish. It's very important we understand the thin line, but yeah, most of the time we fail. The next topic, impossible is nothing. Impossible is nothing. It's a tagline. Toastmaster Saurav. Impossible is nothing. It's impossible is nothing.
If we assume that impossible is reality, we will never have any new invention. Our creativity will die. So it means that impossible is nothing. It's just an abstract fear in our mind. Who could have imagined 30 years ago that we will have ability to talk without wire? Now we have that ability. Who could have imagined 10 years ago that we will have something called AI chat GPT, where we can talk to machine like assuming that on the other side there is something called human, but that machine is thinking like a human. So that example proved that impossible is nothing. If we will accept that impossible cannot be conquered or cannot be overcome, it means that we are going to kill our creativity, our imagination, and new invention. So at the end, it means that impossible is nothing. It's just a fear of our mind. Thank you.
Yes, our fear is our limitation. The next topic, fly the friendly skies. Fly the friendly skies. It's a tagline. Goes to distinguished Toastmaster Gangadhar. I hope you familiar with the tagline.
Fly the friendly
Skies, United Airlines.
Good evening to all Toastmasters and guests. The line, fly the friendly skies, is sort of close to my heart. The reason being, I used to work for Air Canada once upon a time. And there it was all about flying, and till date, though it is 33 years ago, we still connect and all airline news is shared between us. So, flying the friendly skies is happening or has happened in the present times in our country because it's become sort of affordable. So many people are still flying the friendly skies, but of late, the trend is changing, the demand supply is changing, so you would love to fly, but are the skies friendly? That's a different thing altogether. So it's okay to say fly the friendly skies. You want to take it a notch further, if you can afford it, try and fly the friendly skies in business class. Try and fly the friendly skies in first class. Work towards that, and really the sky will be much more friendly for you, though you're in the same aircraft. But it makes a world of a difference between that curtain, between the sections behind there and the ones in front. So the skies are always friendly. It all depends how you fly, what's your affordability, and who you are flying with. And I think it's an experience that has always broadened your horizon, your thinking, and way of viewing life. So the more you travel, the more you fly, the more widening will be your thoughts. With that, I wish to hand this over back to the Deputy Master.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster and others. That's my dream, one day to fly in business class. The next topic. Excellence is not a skill, it's an attitude. Excellence is not a skill, it's an attitude, Toastmaster Suhas.
Excellence is not a skill, it is an attitude. And this theme is very well connects with me, because if we practice a lot, like if you keep on practicing every day, and we change drastically, and we can perform better, and we can show excellence to the people, and the people will appreciate for that. Because before coming to Toastmaster, I was not very good at public speaking. So later I keep on coming, and I kept on practicing. Later drastically I lost my fear, and now I'm getting the idea to speak. Today, tomorrow, one day, maybe I can become a good speaker. So I think by practicing, we can become better. I also thank you.
We all are here to, learn the skill of communication. Hope we all one day reach that point. The next topic: be a warrior, not a warrior. Be a warrior, not a warrior. Toastmaster Jose.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests, how true. Because worrying does not get us anywhere. And what we need to do is, actually I wouldn't even say be a warrior, because you really don't have to fight a problem. When you fight a problem, you are actually sort of confronting something with some negativity is what I feel. So what you need to do is find the challenging aspect with whatever you are encountering, and look at it as a challenge, and how best you can overcome that challenge. And I think that is when any amount of obstacles that comes will not be a challenge to you, or will not make you worry, and you don't have to fight against it. you will just smoothly sail because you are focused on overcoming that problem. And this brings me to what our legendary basketballer Michael Jordan said. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Just try to walk around it or push yourself or climb it, but don't give up. So that, I think, is the essence of facing any problem that you have. So neither be a worrier, not be a warrior also. You just look at it as a challenge, and I'm sure that we will get a lot of learning out of it and will help us encounter similar such challenges and deal it in a much better way. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Master Jose. I mean, I don't know what I would choose to be. Probably situation will help me choose. I would request a guest to take the next topic. Anyone would like to? Or shall I take someone? Okay. The person there, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Blue checks. Yes, you. May I know your name? Sorry? Nidaharan. The topic is for you, escape ordinary. Escape ordinary. Yes.
Good evening.
I'm currently staying in Bangalore for a temporary period. I'm coming from Trichy, Tamil Nadu, and I'm doing masters from NIT Trichy. So, what is the topic again? Escape ordinary. Right. So, we have been coming through a lot of products or things around us, but those products are not the kind of ordinary thing what you see. Say what Steve Jobs said. The revolutionary thing will happen only with people who can change something, and change will not happen when we are simply being ordinary human being. So we have to change from a normal day-to-day life and think beyond what the common man is thinking, and soon we will get some thoughts and ideas which can promote us to innovate, develop some new products and new innovation for a sustainable future that can make an extraordinary world where we can live safe, peacefully, without any war, as we are seeing in the news, and hoping to live better. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much, Nidaharan. I'm sorry. Nidaharan. Yes, Nidaharan. Great attempt. And yes, we all are here to escape the ordinary, and that's why we all are here. And it's now time for me to sign off as Table Topic Master. I hope you all had a great time. Yes. Over to you,
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka, for taking us through 3 categories of topics and helping us get out of our comfort zones. For the people who did not get a topic today, you can relax, the session is over. Now we finished the 2 segments of today's meeting, the prepared speech and the table topic. Now it is time for the experts to speak. And for that, I call upon the principal of today's meeting, the general evaluator, Toastmaster Hannah Victoria.
So I would take that opportunity and go ahead. When I told my mentor that I'm being the general evaluator, this is the first time I'm doing it. So I said I'm a bit nervous, and he said, just keep it simple, stick to the basics. So I'm going to try and do just that for today's meeting. When I walked in,
At 6:15, the meeting hall was ready. Chirant had set the table and all the books were out. And when he started off, he brought in a lot of energy and enthusiasm. He told us the rules very clearly. He mentioned the rules to be followed, the 3 rules. And he also introduced the president very well. And he connected it to the theme as well. What I would request, one suggestion would be when you said KISS, okay, and you said keep it simple and stupid. So this, I may not personally agree with it. I would say maybe foolish is okay, but being stupid is actually stupid in the sense that you have different mindsets of what a stupid thing can be. So I would say keep it simple when you explain the theme. But very well done for the whole term. I think you were consistent, made use of the opportunity to improve yourself. You made the 6 months. I think hardly you took off, too. So I think you made use of the opportunity the club gave. So I would think, please give it up for our Sergeant at Arms. Our president came and welcomed the guests. The first time guests, made them stand, introduce themselves, made them feel at home, which I thought was very good, and it is our tradition to do so, which he very well did. And he passed on the minutes of the meeting, declared the meeting open as well. And as always, if you listen to him on the theme, it will be a very, very interesting take on the theme. There are stories which I remember of him maybe in the first month of the term. So that is his greatest plus point, storytelling, and very, very interesting. Nothing personal. I don't know anything personal about the gentleman, about our principal, about our president, but yet very, very interesting stories he tells us. My one recommendation would be, I think you ended up on a little bit of a sarcastic note. I wouldn't know why, but again, I mean, make use of the platform to encourage people. Yes, I mean, I would personally think avoid sarcasm. And going on to the TMOD, we will do a little later. But now we move on to the evaluations. May I request Robinson sir, to evaluate the first one.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening everyone present here, and Mr. Srinivas in particular. It was Srinivas' first speech, icebreaker, and you used 6 minutes time. That's the time allotted to you, 4 to 6 minutes. In this speech, he had to introduce himself and learn the basic structure of public speech. That's opening, body, and conclusion. In this, you ask a question. First, refer to your quote. We learn best in the moments of enjoyment. Then ask the question to the audience. Who said this? And offer a chocolate. The result is that you attract the audience by saying that quote and asking the question at the same time offering a reward. I like it. It's an excellent way to begin. Then the body of the speech. He mentioned about his birthplace. Do you anyone remember? Yes. Pardon? Nellore. Yeah, here not Nellore. Then where is it situated? In which state? Andhra Pradesh. They remember that. Then he was brought up by grandparents. Yeah, these are things they remember your speech, your story. Then his father was a teacher working in the north, and his primary education higher studies, going to college, all in a day. And the college, he said, he was pursuing two aspects, important things, two important things in his life. When in college, what was they? First one? First one? Girlfriend. Second one? Good marks. Something wrong, doesn't matter, they remember it. See, these are the things how to attract the audience. Then you could not get a job, a placement, dissolution. You had a girlfriend, you stopped speaking to her. Then you found a mentor. Mentor suggested three things, 3 P's. What are they?
Patience.
Yeah.
Persistence.
Yeah. Perspiration. He said perspiration. I don't agree with him, but who is your mentor? You didn't tell that. You should have told that one also. That accordingly, doesn't matter. Then after that, on account of his mentor, the 3 things: patience, persistence, perspiration. He succeeded. He got 3 offers in a job. He did masters. 3 offers. He did masters. And then he selected the best job, highest paying job. See, I like your confidence. I like your eye contact, your surveying. Only essential is that holding the mic. You are holding the mic like this. We have seen holding others holding the mic. Yes. Jose, Puneet. Puneet used both hands. Where is Puneet? He has left. Yeah, Puneet used the mic in both hands. The other person, that was the right, how to use the mic. 6 inches between the mouth and the mic. And for you, the mic was not required at all. Like Aditya, he didn't use the mic, only voice. You could have done that one. Then conclusion, then 2 corrections. I am the second child of my parents. If I were you, I would have said I was the second child to my parents. Then moved into Chhattisgarh. Moved to Chhattisgarh. Then used right, the word right. How many times? Then ultimately, 4 times. Sorry, I am using one time. And conclusion, I don't agree with you. I would like to culminate my speech, you said. I would like to close or end my speech. Otherwise, congratulations, and God has given you an excellent gift, the height. I think you are the tallest person in this audience today, or in our club. Keep it up.
Thank you so much, Robinson sir. I think Robinson sir has done the role of an evaluator, the grammarian. So I mean, we lived the speech as well. So thank you so much. I would move on to the second evaluator. Ma'am.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, and Nisha, my target speaker. Wow, Nisha, that was a wonderful speech, and thank you for giving us insight into your rich and varied activities, right? I mean, far from a dentist who generally gives pain with extraction and drilling, right? And all that you did, you know, the yoga, the meditation, and your various active reading that you want to do, you're wanting to do. We got a full picture of your entire life, and you did it in a proper, structured manner. And the best part was you captivated all of us with your beautiful smile. And that, I would say, is a big asset for any speaker. And true to your sort of what you love doing, meditation and yoga, you were calm and composed, because if you were not that, you wouldn't have been able to carry on in spite of, you know, getting stuck. You forgot your speech. So that is what I like, you know, for an icebreaker. Normally one would, you know, get very nervous if they forget, but you carried on. That was great, right? And you also gave us a message that go for what you need, not what you want. That was a wonderful message. So structure-wise, you were well, and you gave all the requirements of an icebreaker, where we got to know your family, what you pursue, your extra activities, what you do, and your family. All that came in. What motivates you, and all that. All the content was there. The structure was there. Now, how can you get to be a better speaker as you want to be a speaker? And I would connect it to the path that you have taken, presentation. I would suggest that one thing is, bring in pauses so that the audience has time to absorb and digest what you're speaking. And it was so interesting. So give them time to absorb whatever you're saying. And the other thing is, I found your hands were clutched, and luckily you had the mic in your hand, and it was as though you were clinging onto it. So open out your arms, your energy also will start flowing, and that would give you that added, confidence to present. And come forward. We'd love to hear what you're saying. You stuck to the back of the stage, so please come in front and speak out. So that would be excellent for a presenter. So remember to bring in the pauses. We have a more relaxed style and also more open gestures, but continue that beautiful smile and the structuring. All that is great, and go for it to become a great speaker. We'd rather love to see you as a speaker than a dentist who gives pain to all the best to pursuing your life.
Thank you so much, DTM Sumitra ma'am, for that very detailed evaluation, and I'm sure it will help you in your speech journey. Now we move on to the third evaluator, Toastmaster Ganesh Pai, to evaluate Toastmaster Aditya.
Someone famously said, in life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. For the Toastmasters and my target speaker, Toastmaster Aditya in particular, a very good evening to you all. At the core, this project required Toastmaster Aditya to understand and apply some of the negotiation or conflict resolution steps and skills and share it with us. I have been part of so many high-stake discussions, and having shared the room with some of the prolific deal makers, I cannot emphasize enough some of the negotiation skills you need to get ahead in your career. And this is where Toastmaster Aditya did a splendid job to share with us the toolkits of these sharp and shrewd negotiators. And how did he do it? He shared with us the nuances of conflict resolution. He shared with us the three techniques, right? The number 1 minute rule, hypothesis testing, and then partner. And I can tell you friends, I have read enough literature on negotiation, and this is the distilled wisdom what one can really, or what one needs actually to get ahead or have in a negotiation. Brilliantly done. And for each of these techniques, he had an example as well, so we could actually understand how to really apply it. Amazing. Number 2, and for me this is the masterstroke. Towards the end, towards the culmination, the way he culminated the whole thing was, he said, now reverse the order. Start with partner, and then think in ranges, and give yourself 1 minute to really make a decision. And this was not only like reinforcing us the message, in a sense it also helped us to absorb the whole of the thing. Superb. Now, how to take this speech from superb to superlative? I have a few suggestions.
and I hope we have no conflict there. Number one, I thought the introduction was rather too simplistic. I understand the theme was keep it simple, but you could have possibly used a high-stake conflict, a political conflict, or let's say a hostage situation, and how an astute negotiator would have solved it, and take that and dovetail the techniques into the story. Maybe that's something you could have done, or else you could have taken some real-life example and how you felt that you lacked some of these techniques, and then sort of use the techniques for us to understand. If you had you known this is, I mean, you could have fared better. So this is two things I thought I'll suggest. But having said that, amazing speech, brilliant insights, giving us a peek into the mind of the negotiators, and if you can just use take care of some of the suggestions I made, maybe it will fortify the speech even further, and it will be crossing the chasm from theory to practice. And trust me, if you could do it, even Arnab Goswami will shut up and listen. Back to the general.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ganesh. Both the speaker and the evaluator were brilliant to listen to, and I literally have nothing more to add. Not that I would have come up with any of the suggestions, but brilliantly well put. Now we move on to the table topic master. Priyanka, where's Priyanka? Yes. Okay. I think you did a very great, brilliant job by being the TTM today. You interacted with the audience. What I loved about today's session was you interacted with the audience straight off, and then you explained what is impromptu speaking skills and what benefits it entails. And also, when you said the first topic, you paused, and then everybody is like, is it me, is it me? So you created that element of suspense, which is good. And you made many of them comfortable on stage. So, and that's the whole point. Many of them spoke for well over 1.5 minutes. So I think that was the objective, and I think it was very well met. My only suggestion would be certain topics like rule the world. It's a very, very abstract kind of a thing, which we may not, it's only in our fantasies. We will not speak it out aloud. The situation won't arise unless it's, so try and keep the topics. If you can speak it, then give it. Yeah, because some of the topics you said, no, I don't know. So my suggestion, the only suggestion would be on the topics. Otherwise, very well done. Please give it up for Priyanka. And now we will come to the TMOD before the tag team comes over. Brian, I think was a very, very pleasant surprise for the evening today, for me at least. Okay, first thing, he was very well dressed, and considering that he was given the role only yesterday, he prepared himself pretty well, reached out to all of us. Please give it up. He reached out to all of us. He messaged me last night. I couldn't answer his message. He made the effort to give me a call, understand what my take on the theme was. So I think he did his homework pretty well. Yes, and his brilliant sense of humor. How many of you liked his sense of humor? Brilliant sense of humor. And he also explained the theme very well. Okay, he gave a very simple example. Most of us could understand what his message was. Very comfortable and confident on the stage he was, and told us about the 3 W's. Introduced Ralph C. Smedley very well, introduced what the Toastmaster meeting, the 3 sections of the meeting pretty clearly. Okay, and what I would suggest, recommendations. One was avoid using slang. Please avoid using slang. You used certain words which which is inappropriate in a setting like this. Okay, and for the icebreaker sessions, okay, always check with your mentor when you take up the role, because icebreakers, we do not introduce the speakers, because that's what the icebreaker session is all about. They come onto stage and tell us who they are, but you introduce both of them, and so we had a slight background about who they are. So normally, generally, we don't introduce. And then your movement on stage, restricted. It's good when it's needed, but too much of moving on the stage also distracts our attention. So restrict your movement on the stage. Yes, and then your message as well. The message, I think you overshot your time. Yes, and it was a very simple message, so you should have kept it crisp, because you explained it over again. So try and make it as crisp as possible. Otherwise, and he also introduced all the evaluators. Generally, they don't make the effort to know about the evaluators, but he made the effort to introduce all the evaluators very well, and our tag team as well. This is the first time I think somebody's made the effort to introduce the tag team. So I think a very, very brilliant job done, Toastmaster Prime. And I now request the tag team to come over. The timer, Toastmaster Sampath.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So, overall, everyone maintained the time. Within the time, everyone spoke very well. But still, if I had to tell people who have spoken less than 2 minutes in table topic, I can say Toastmaster Jeevan 1 minute 38 seconds, and PM Danya 1 minute 30 seconds, TM Puneet 1 minute 10 seconds, this Gaurav 56 seconds, Toastmaster Shah 42 seconds, Toastmaster Girish 1 minute 23 seconds, Toastmaster Saurav 1 minute 1 minute 15 seconds, and Toastmaster Sudas 1 minute 35 seconds, Toastmaster Juice 1 minute 34 seconds, and guest Nidal 1 minute. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sampath Kumar. May I now request our counter, Toastmaster Kolapan.
Today we can call our counter as so counter, because everyone used to so large than R. And few Toastmasters didn't use any clutch words. They are Vaidyanath, Toastmaster Vaidyanathan, Toastmaster Alok, Toastmaster Puneet, Toastmaster Gangadhar. Other than that, everyone used either R or so used by many members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kolapan. I now request the grammarian to please give his report.
Good evening once again, dear Toastmasters and dear guests. Good evening. I'll first give you the good usages and the not so good usages, and then we'll look at who are the people who use the word for the day. Coming to the good usages, jack of all trades, master of none, get old when you stop having fun, grueling, preferred sound of drill to my singing, pet peeve, lost for words, close to my heart, essence of, straight off. Some of these phrases were used quite well, and then please give it up. There were a few metaphors which were used today, one of which was recipes of success, the next one was stringing together, and the next one was whatever was there on your plate. Coming to one simile which was used today, and that is a good conversation is like a couple dancing. And now coming to the not so good usages. We had someone say both goes hand in hand, it's both go hand in hand. want done something right, want something done right. Dances good, dances well. And then we had some colloquial terms used, so it's better to explain those terms for the benefit of those who do not understand, because of the fact that we are using English as the basic language, or the language that we are using here. So roti, kapda, makan, aram se, maska. It's better that we do not use words in a Toastmaster, these words in a Toastmasters meeting. Brain needs exercise. Brain needs exercise. Was tough. Getting different ideas. Started a conversation. Talk to a machine. Everybody is like, and when it was being referred to, it's better that it would be referred to as everybody was like, because it was being referred to in the past tense. Coming to the word of the day, it was used by Toastmaster Priyanka, the table topic master. It was used by Toastmaster Srinivas, and it was used by Toastmaster Ganesh. In case I have missed out anyone's name by, or rather inadvertently, you can raise your hand now, in case you've used the word of the day. That's all. That's my report. Back to you.
Thank you so much. This week's tag team were very well prepared for their roles, and I request all of you to please give a huge round of applause. I thank the committee for the opportunity given, and I had a great time this evening, and I hope each one of you did as well. Over to you, TMOD.
We are done with the 3 segments of today's Toastmasters meeting. The voting link is open. The password is PEAK, P-E-A-K, all small. Okay, with that, I conclude. Remember, friends, keep it simple, live simple, stay simple, think simple, dream complex. With that, back to the study hall. I think this is the. Not working?
No,
it's working.
This is the first time that he took up the role of TMOD, and that too, as G said, yesterday evening he got to know that he is going to be the TMOD. In just 24 hours time, he ensured that he spoke to everybody, took their introductions, and did a fabulous job. I think he deserves a round of applause once. Gentlemen, he is just 1 month old in our system. He is just a month old in Toastmasters. Okay, thank you. And the general evaluator also deserves a round of applause for the job very well done. So a round of applause to Toastmaster.
So a couple of announcements. One is the much awaited installation ceremony, which is the 53rd installation ceremony of our time, is going to happen on the 2nd of July, which is the coming Sunday. It's going to happen at the Chancery Pavilion, and the new set of officers are going to take charge, and the existing committee will pass on the baton to them. So please do ensure that you all be present and ensure that the function becomes a grand success. And then there are certain books which we use it in every meeting. One is the art counter book, the tag counter book they use, the timer, the art counter, and the Canadian, they all use a book. And then this is something which always get dirty, and then it gets torn because of the repeated usage. And there was one gentleman who noticed it and then ensured that he gave us 3 brand new books, bound, and then thanks to our Toastmaster Puneet Surana. And we also with us today the division director. And there were two area directors who were from our club. So Toastmaster Hannah Victoria and the other one being Priyanka Ramori. And more important, we also have one more gentleman who is quite busy in tallying boards. And he is elected as the division secretary. May I request them to please come on stage. Continue to applaud, please. And a round of applause to these three, because it was not easy to be a part of the division and then the area and then do this leadership role, but they took it upon themselves and then they are going to do a fabulous job for sure. So a round of applause once again for this. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now it's time for awards. And before that, may I request the people, the gentleman who is seated there, the last one. So could you please come on stage? Do you want to come and speak? You can speak about whatever you want. How the meeting went. Did you enjoy the meeting?
He is a Toastmaster.
Yes? Oh, you are a Toastmaster?
I was a Toastmaster.
You are a Toastmaster, okay.
Hi.
Where from you are coming?
Come again.
Where from you are coming?
Yeah, hi everyone. Should I talk about a little? Maybe I'm from Japan. I can talk a little about.
Excellent. You can speak about Japan. Sure. Yeah. Please go.
Okay. Hello everyone.
Hello.
I'm Haru and it's my first time to come here. And well, I'm afraid I arrived here a little late today. So next time that I hope that I can come here on time. And currently that I'm here on a mission to, well, I'm on a business trip base, but I'm staying here for about a month. Then, I go back to Japan, then I come back again, back and forth. So I expect to spend about a half of the year in India, and mostly in Bangalore. So I'm hoping that I can join the meeting next time. And just a little bit about my so I work in the IT gaming company in Japan. So my mission is to invest in the gaming for entertainment kind of startups here in India. And India is really exciting market for us, from our view. So I'm really, this project just started this year and I'm really having a good time here in India. So I hope to get to know each other with you. Thank you
very much. Thank you. Now it's time for awards. The best auxiliary role taker award for today goes to Toastmaster Hannah. So who is the best role taker? The youngest of them all. 19 years of age. So Toastmaster Brian the distilled wisdom in the form of a speech and distilled wisdom in the form of an evaluation. And the best evaluator for tonight goes to Toastmaster Ganesh Pai. There is a curtain between the economy class and the business class. Right? And this gentleman always flew in the business class, and he is also going to fly high today. And the best table topic speaker goes to GTM Bangalore Toastmasters. The power
Girls Gang. BDS from one of the finest dental college, married to a pediatrician, son-in-law is going to be a part of Apple, and daughter from BMS College of Engineering. So who is she? Who else? Okay, the best speaker for today goes to Dr. Nisha. So there is a book, As a Woman Thinker.
Wow.
And we are going to have a session which is a business meeting, and it is meant only for the members. And I guess it's time to head back home safely, and we will meet you next week at the same venue at 6:30 in the evening. But members, please do stay back for a short meeting. Thank you, guys. Thanks for gracing vacation. So we will look forward to meet you next week again. The same place. Thank you very much. And members, please do come forward. So please do occupy the seats. Please do occupy the seats which are vacant. So this is my last adjustment as the president of this wonderful club. So I'm adjourning